Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Chocolate Therapist TV. I'm Julie, host of the show. I also own a chocolate shop called The Chocolate Therapist in Littleton, Colorado, where we make handcrafted, all-natural chocolates with no dyes or preservatives. Now, you can see that this is all about chocolate and white wine pairing, but I'm not going to say you have to pair with our chocolates, but I am going to feature our chocolates today because they're specially made for pairing with wine because they are clean ingredient profile. And they also have a lot less sugar than most chocolates, so that lends them to pairing better with really whatever you're drinking. And in fact, I'm the author of this book as well, Dare to Pair, The Ultimate Guide to Chocolate and Wine Pairing. So I'm just here to tell you, try everything. Some of my friends were like, you cannot pair white wine with chocolate. I'm like, oh yes, we can, you just watch. So I'm just going to give you basic guidelines on how to do this so that wherever you are in the world, whatever white wine you're drinking, whatever chocolate happens to be in the vicinity, you'll know exactly how to do it. So if you're going to do this at home, I would suggest having, of course, a glass that you're going to put your wine in. And I like to use this tasting glass because you want to pour a little bit. If you're going to do, say, a few different wines, you don't pour yourself a huge glass of wine, or you're going to end up having to chug the wine in between the pairings. Better to have extra at the end of your wine pairing. You're also going to want to have a dump cup just for rinsing out your glass with your water. You can dump it in here or you can drink it if you want to. And then when you get your glass of water, make sure it doesn't have any ice in it. You don't want your mouth to be cold while you're trying to melt chocolate. So a glass of room temperature or just tap water is the best way to go with the water. I always like to have a little paring knife too so I can cut everything in half when I'm doing it. Just because, it's good to have a little extra chocolate at the end as well, because what if you find a wine that you want to pair it with down the road? You've already eaten that whole piece of chocolate. This will solve that problem. Now, I'm going to, like I said, feature the Chocolate Therapist chocolates, but get whatever you want. I'll tell you how I do it. So first of all, I always go with the light to heavy wines. So your lightest wines, your sweeter wines, I would do those first, followed by your bigger whites later. Not so critical with the white wines as it is with the reds, because you just have these really big reds versus maybe like a Beaujolais or a Pinot Noir, where you're not going to have quite as much flavor in the wine. So I always definitely like to do the reds from light to heavy. But the whites I would do from sweet to maybe to the driest. Now, the reason that I particularly like our chocolates is they don't have any sugary dye-filled centers. They're just pure chocolate, organic flavoring oil, and a little bit of coconut oil to soften the center. So when you bite in, they're just pure chocolate, which means you don't have a massive amount of sugar, which especially for a dry white wine can really make it kind of bite and pucker. Fortunately, we do have a rule in the store, which I would advise taking advantage of. If you find a pairing you don't like, just keep drinking. Now, when you're doing the actual pairings, first thing I do is I check the flavor profiles in the wine. So this is the Riesling. It's sweet. It has some orange, apricot, honey, some floral. That's what I would try to do with my chocolate. In this particular pairing box that we have right here, I have a milk chocolate orange. I would absolutely try this with it. I might try the milk chocolate key lime. I would absolutely try the dark chocolate raspberry because these are flavors that are fruity and they're going to probably go really well with this wine. Now, when you're pairing, you want to take a small bite of the chocolate. Don't throw the whole thing in your mouth, right? Because once you get the wine in, there's like no hope for the wine to have any essence of interaction with the chocolate. The chocolate is going to be completely hogging your whole mouth. And the goal would really be more to take a small bite of the chocolate, get it melting, note the flavors in the chocolate, conscious experience, right? And then you add the wine at the same time as the chocolate. So you can note how the flavors change. This is really fun. Go slow. This is an art. You can't just throw everything in there at once and hope to have some kind of good result. And in fact, if you have too much chocolate in your mouth when you add the wine, it's going to be harder to pair. It'll pucker, it'll bite. So small bite of chocolate, little bit of wine, note how the flavors change. So once you're done with your sweet wine, whatever it is, maybe it's a Moscato, a Riesling, a Gewürztraminer, next you want to either drink your wine and finish it or dump it into your dump cup and take your water and rinse your glass out because you're going to be switching to a major difference, right? Your dry white wine, unless you're doing another sweet wine. But I would still say go ahead and rinse your glass in between every wine. Now this is a Sauvignon Blanc, and with this wine we typically serve a key lime. So the wine is tart, it's acidic. It might have kiwi, starfruit, grapefruit in it. This one's from Matua. It's from New Zealand. So it has a little bit more of the starfruit flavor, a little less grapefruit, a little less bitterness. It goes great with our key lime. It also goes really well with our dark chocolate raspberry. But again, if you have a favorite chocolate, I would say just go ahead and try it. But just remember the basic concepts. Small bite of chocolate, get it melting, a little bit of wine, see how the flavors change. Now, when I teach this with the sommelier, he's always like, no, you gotta have the wine in first, then add the chocolate, but I'm all about the chocolate. It's really a personal preference how you want to do it. Once you're ready to switch wines, same concept. Chug or dump out your wine, rinse your glass, move to the next chocolate. So looking at your flavor profiles. So this is a different Sauvignon Blanc. That's what I happen to have here at the house today, so that's what I used. But you can do the Chardonnay or Pinot Gris or whatever you like to do, right? Whatever your favorite wine is. I would suggest getting a box of milk chocolates if you're a white wine drinker, but we do have, like this pairing box has 8 milk and 8 dark. And there's 2 each of each chocolate so that you can share this with a friend and a bottle of wine and you can each have one of the chocolates. You can take our class online, our chocolate and wine pairing virtual class. We also have a chocolate tasting class and a chocolate and tea pairing class. So all kinds of different ways to have this experience. And I go through how chocolate's made from bean to bar. And I will go a little bit more into the wines in the class than I'm going to right now. We have a white wine pairing box, milk chocolate only, as well as a dark chocolate only for you dyed-in-the-wool red wine fans. And most of these are going to go with port and fortified wines. Sherry, mead, port. I really feel like you can't go wrong there. There you have it. How to pair chocolate with white wine. Not that difficult. I think to me the key is the chocolate. Don't get that chocolate that has those sugary dye-filled centers because all that sugar with these white wines, that's going to be a clash. That's going to really make your mouth pucker. You're going to really have to keep drinking to make that happen. If you can choose chocolate that doesn't have as much sugar, right? It's just pure chocolate centers. Ours are infused with the organic flavoring oil, so they work great. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm Julie with the Chocolate Therapist TV. If you like the station, please subscribe because I'm always doing something fun, interesting, and entertaining with chocolate, and I will catch you on the next episode.